Are entering the quadrangle. The graduates of the School of Medicine are now entering the quadrangle. The graduates of the School of Law are now entering the quadrangle. Entering the quadrangle are the graduates of the Graduate School. Now entering the quadrangle are the graduates of the College of Arts and Sciences. The graduates of the Brown School are now entering the quadrangle. Now entering the quadrangle are the graduates of the College of Art of the Sam Fox School of Design and Visual Arts. Now entering the quadrangle are the graduates of University College. Graduates of the College of Arts and Science are entering the quadrangle. The graduates of the Olin Business School are now entering the quadrangle. graduates of the McKelvey School of Engineering are now entering the quadrangle. Welcome to Washington University's 158th commencement exercises. I am John Droback, the Grand Marshal of this year's ceremony. We will begin with the singing of America the Beautiful by Tyler Allen Smith, who will receive a Bachelor of Science degree today. Will you please rise? Will you please be seated? I now present the Chancellor of Washington University, Dr. Mark Wrighton.
Thank you, Professor Droback. It's a privilege to welcome you to the graduation exercises for the Washington University class of 2019. Let's hear it. This year we will have 3,162 graduates. We welcome and celebrate you because this is the day we recognize the completion of your degree requirements. For you, your families, and your friends, this is a day to honor your extraordinary achievements leading to your graduation. It is also my pleasure to welcome and recognize members of the class of 1969 who have returned to the university to celebrate their 50th reunion. We value your association with the university and take pride in your lifetimes of accomplishment. Like alumni who have preceded you and those who have followed, you have made important contributions that are making the world a better place for all. Today, we will also extend special recognition to individuals who will receive honorary degrees. Honorary degrees at Washington University are conferred by the Board of Trustees, many of whom are on the stage before you. We recognize today 7 individuals for contributions they've made to their professions, to our community, and to society. You've already heard from one of the talented graduates, Tyler Smith, singing America the Beautiful. And near the end of our ceremony, Michelle Schreier, who will also receive a BA in music and a minor in mathematics, will lead us in singing the alma mater. Let's thank Tyler and Michelle for their contributions. You've already heard the magnificent Mighty Mississippi Concert Band of St. Louis under the direction of Mr. Dan Presgrave, a former member of our faculty in the Department of Music in Arts and Sciences. Let's give them a round of applause as well. Thank you. It has been our custom to name a distinguished emeritus or emerita faculty member to serve as the honorary Grand Marshal of Commencement. For this, the 158th Commencement, we're privileged to have Dean Emeritus of the Washington University School of Medicine, Dr. Larry J. Shapiro, as the honorary Grand Marshal. Dean Shapiro is a beloved administrator, pediatrician, genetics researcher, and mentor who served as Executive Vice Chancellor and Dean of the School of Medicine from 2003 to 2015. Under his leadership, the medical school consistently remained a top medical school, greatly expanded its clinical programs, recruited outstanding faculty and students, and strengthened the research enterprise. Dr. Shapiro actually first arrived here in St. Louis about 50 years ago as an undergraduate student, where a course in developmental biology taught by eventual Nobel laureate Rita Levi-Montalcini and famed embryologist Victor Hamburger. This course sparked Dr. Shapiro's future physician research and sparked his lifetime career in biomedical science. He chose pediatrics not only because he enjoyed caring for children, but because the field offered a good pathway into medical genetics. He received that undergraduate degree and then went on to a medical degree from Washington University, and he completed residency at St. Louis Children's Hospital before embarking on a career in academic medicine. Ultimately, we recruited him from the University of California, San Francisco, where he had chaired the Department of Pediatrics. Since returning to Washington University, he has been lauded for his leadership in research and medical education, as well as for his efforts to build bridges between the medical and Danforth campuses. He has been associated as a leader of with the establishment of our Institute of Public Health. He has enhanced the school's partnership with our key partner, BJC Healthcare, and he has advocated for diversity and gender equality in the School of Medicine. It's under his leadership that the first women became department chairs in the School of Medicine. A national leader in medical research and education, Dr. Shapiro is a member of the National Academy of Medicine. He's a member of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences, and he served as president of the American Society of Human Genetics and the American Pediatric Society, among many other leadership positions in his field. Though he retired from Washington University in 2015, Dr. Shapiro found he couldn't stay away from the world of academic medicine. In 2017, he was named Chief Executive Officer of University Health Partners of Hawaii, the faculty practice plan at the University of Hawaii. So we're very grateful that Larry continues his outstanding career. I'd like Dr. Shapiro to please stand and receive our thanks for his many contributions. Thank you. Our commencement ceremony today is the academic highlight of the year. These proceedings continue a long tradition with origins dating back to the Middle Ages. I'm grateful that our Grand Marshal, Professor John Droback, has been in this leadership role now for 4 years. He does an outstanding job, not only in connection with this academic activity, but also as a distinguished professor in the School of Law. The university advances because many of our most distinguished academicians are making contributions to the scholarly mission as well as to campus life. Thank you, Professor Droback, for your great contributions here and in the School of Law. It is now my pleasure to introduce the chairman of the Washington University Board of Trustees, Mr. Craig D. Schnook. Mr. Schnook is chairman emeritus of Schnook Markets Incorporated. He's been an active civic leader for many years and currently serves on the board of directors of BJC Healthcare. Mr. Schnook is a long-serving member of the Board of Trustees and assumed the position of chairman on July 1, 2014. He concludes his 5-year term on June 30th. It's been a true honor for me to have the opportunity to work with Craig in this important leadership role. Please welcome Chairman of the Board, Mr. Craig Schnook.
Thank you, Mark. Good morning and welcome. As Chair of the Board of Trustees of Washington University, it is my great privilege to recognize the class of 2019 for your achievements. Today, you are graduating from one of the finest universities in the world. You have successfully met rigorous academic challenges. You've worked hard, and you have every reason to be proud. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I congratulate you on a job well done. We are all proud of Washington University's stature as a global center of learning and discovery. Our university nurtures creativity and commitment to others. It fosters future leaders. It is a place to make lifelong friendships, to gain understanding of viewpoints and cultures different from your own, to build the foundation for professional achievement, to create networks that will support your goals, and to find inspiration that will shape your future. As members of the Washington University community, we share a mission to help make the world better than we found it. Today, we welcome members of the class of 1969 who are seated on stage in honor of 50 years of outstanding achievement. We expect to be equally proud of the class of 2019 when representatives of the class sit here a half a century from now, and I encourage all of you to come. Today we'll give you a new challenge, to use your education to lead lives of meaning and purpose. We wish you a safe and rewarding journey as you pursue your professional and personal goals. I hope that you will always remember this moment with pride. My fellow trustees and I applaud you, your families, and everyone who is celebrating with you here today. And we offer our heartiest congratulations and best wishes. As I am sure you know, this is the last time Chancellor Mark Wrighton will preside over commencement at Washington University. So you might say that he is graduating with you today as he moves forward to tackle new challenges and lead important initiatives at the university and the St. Louis community and beyond. Chancellor Wrighton believes commencement is one of the most important events in the life of a university. Throughout his 24 years as chancellor, he has worked tirelessly to make this a special moment in the lives of our graduates. So it is only fitting that this is one of his last public duties as our chancellor. There is a section in today's commencement program that celebrates Chancellor Wrighton's and his wife Reese's many contributions to Washington University. And I would hope that all of you have a chance to read it and appreciate their many contributions. Also here today as a surprise are some special guests, several former student union and class presidents who served during Chancellor Wrighton's tenure and who have returned for this special day. Will our former and current student body leaders please stand? Oh, behind me. Yes. Thank you for joining us on this special day. Commencement Day is always one of the highlights of the year. Today it is even more special as we recognize Washington University's 14th Chancellor, Mark S. Wrighton. Please join me in applauding Chancellor Wrighton for all he has done for the university.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. This is really not about me, it's about you. However, I am graduating, as you now know. I'm grateful to those who made the special trip. It's a surprise to have the former student leaders, and I'm pleased that so many of our current student leaders are here today to celebrate with us. It is now a great pleasure for me to introduce our commencement speaker, renowned entrepreneur and three-term mayor of the city of New York, Michael R. Bloomberg. Mr. Bloomberg's innovations in business, government, and philanthropy have made him a global leader on many critical issues facing America and the world, including climate change, public health, and education. The technology company he founded in 1981 and now leads, Bloomberg LP, employs nearly 20,000 people in 120 countries. Mr. Bloomberg was elected mayor just weeks after the 9/11 attacks, and under his leadership, New York City rebounded faster and stronger than expected. His administration raised high school graduation rates by 40%, cut crime by a third, and reduced the city's carbon footprint by 14%. His economic policies, which supported entrepreneurs, small businesses, and emerging industries such as tech and bioscience, helped to create a record 400,000 new jobs. His administration invested more than $3 billion in the arts and cultural organizations, making New York City the largest funder of the arts in the United States. Throughout his career, he's been strongly committed to philanthropy, and his foundation, Bloomberg Philanthropies, is focused on public health, education, the environment, the arts, and government innovation. He's given away through this organization billions of dollars. He serves as the United Nations Secretary General's Special Envoy for Climate Action, charged with galvanizing the efforts of governments, businesses, and civil society to fight climate change. He created America's Pledge, a coalition of thousands of mayors, governors, and business leaders committed to cutting carbon emissions to meet the goals of the Paris Agreement on climate change. Mr. Bloomberg is co-author with Carl Pope of the New York Times bestseller, Climate of Hope: How Cities, Businesses, and Citizens Can Save the Planet. He is also the World Health Organization's global ambassador for non-communicable diseases, and his foundation works on life-saving initiatives to improve maternal and reproductive health, increase global road safety, prevent drowning deaths, and much more. His efforts to reduce tobacco use have saved an estimated more than 35 million lives since 2007. In the realm of higher education, he formed the American Talent Initiative, a coalition of more than 100 top colleges, including Washington University, committed to enrolling more talented, lower-income students. He clearly makes a huge commitment to building social mobility among higher education students. In addition, Mr. Bloomberg supports efforts around the country to expand and improve career and technical training. He's a native of Boston and was raised in the suburb of Medford. He earned a Bachelor of Science degree in electrical engineering from Johns Hopkins University and then went on to earn the MBA degree from the Harvard Business School. He then began his career as a clerk for the Wall Street firm Salomon Brothers and Hutzler. In 1981, Mr. Bloomberg was let go from that firm, what might be considered a moment of failure for some, and he used that opportunity to start a new venture. He created a company to computerize financial data and provide investment professionals with real-time market information and analysis. He invented what would become known as the Bloomberg Terminal, which revolutionized the investment industry and leveled the playing field for smaller firms, bringing greater transparency and efficiency to financial markets. Like our graduates and so many of you, Michael Bloomberg has enjoyed the strong foundation and the benefits of an outstanding college education. Today, he's recognized as one of the pioneers of the computer age and of one of the world's most innovative leaders in business, philanthropy, and public affairs. The trajectory of his exemplary career is a model of resiliency and inspiration for today's graduates looking to find their place in the world. Graduates, families, and distinguished guests, I'm honored to introduce you to one of America's most accomplished and heralded global leaders and innovators, Michael R. Bloomberg.
Well, good morning, everyone. Hello, WashU. How's everyone doing? Let me start with the most important words I can say today. Congratulations to the distinguished graduates of the great class of 2019. I'd like to welcome everyone here and Chancellor Wrighton for extending the invitation. I've known the Chancellor for more than a decade, and I want to congratulate him for everything he has done to both transform this campus and raise academic standards. If there are any older alumni present, be glad you applied back when you did. I can just tell you that certainly I would not have gotten into WashU today. For the record, I was the kind of student who always made the top half of the class possible. Graduates, it's a great honor to be your commencement speaker. I accept the fact that I wasn't your first choice, but unfortunately, T-Pain couldn't make it. Mandatory vocal rest, he said. Actually, that's the same reason I didn't go out last night and sing karaoke at Tees. Today's a beautiful day, but this is St. Louis, and so before leaving my hotel this morning, I also packed a winter parka. I drove over here, and I was lucky. I found a very convenient parking space on West Campus. So I took the shuttle over. It was worth it. What an amazing place this is. Where else could I see the bunny and the duck? Still, I was disappointed that in all my walking around, I did not get to see the school's most famous icon, Ninja Turtle backpack guy. Dimitri, way to dance to your own beat. Graduates, and you're probably asking yourself some big, important questions right now on this important day. Like, how am I going to make a living? Will I ever have a mattress as nice as the one I had in the 40? Will I ever again experience the magic of free Uber rides? And the biggest question of all, after Chancellor Wrighton retires, will he still wear double-breasted suits? I'm going to say yes to that one. Today, you'll have to say farewell to many of the things that served as your support system and that got you through these stressful times, like Ted Drew's, Toasted Rav, John's Donuts, Gooey Butter Cake. Thank goodness WashU has also one of the world's best medical centers. Now, before I go any further, let me take a moment to congratulate another group who is here today and does deserve a lot of credit. And I'm talking about your parents and your family. What about a nice round of applause for them? They're out there beaming, not even thinking about the cost of tuition. And I'm sure they're just thrilled that some of you will be moving back into their basements. Wherever you're headed in the days and months ahead, I want to leave you with some food for thought. So let me turn to the real message of my speech. In composing my remarks, I thought about the fact that WashU was originally named Eliot Seminary, after one of the founders, Reverend William Eliot. Apparently, he was uncomfortable naming things after himself. So the Board of Trustees at the time changed the name of the school to honor George Washington. Now, I can appreciate what Reverend Eliot was thinking. I hate it when people name things after themselves. We had a story about that recently on Bloomberg Television and Bloomberg Radio. Maybe it was in Bloomberg Business Week or Bloomberg News, who knows? In all seriousness, the board back then made an inspiring decision to choose Washington. And anyone who thinks this school is in D.C. or near Seattle clearly hasn't been paying attention. It seems fitting that an institution named for Washington has played such an important role in presidential elections in recent decades. WashU has hosted a number of nationally televised debates, including the last one you saw in 2016. Hosting a presidential debate is an experience that few schools or students get. But I can't stand here and tell you it provided a great civics lesson. I wish I could. Instead of focusing on the critical issues facing the country, that debate was more about locker room talk and locker up. Lincoln Douglas, I think it's fair to say, it was not. And that brings me to the topic du jour. It would be easy to blame the candidates or the moderators for the poor quality of that debate. But the problem runs much deeper. All across America, at family gatherings, in social settings and workplaces, on college campuses, and certainly on social media, Americans are losing the ability to conduct civil and productive dialogue with those who hold different political views. And that has a profound effect, profound implication for our ability to function as a society. After all, when you can't talk with one another, you can't understand one another. When we can't understand one another, we can't work together. When we can't work together, we can't do anything, at least not anything big and important. We face a lot of hard challenges in America today, from climate change to gun violence to failing schools to the opioid epidemic. And on campuses, from the frightening trend towards racism, sexism, hatred, anti-Semitism, and intolerance of unpopular views and opinions. To have any hope of overcoming these challenges, we have to start by reclaiming our civic dialogue from those who are debasing and degrading it and preventing us from getting things done. All of you can help do that, no matter what your politics are and no matter what line of work you pursue later on. Maybe your passion is science or education, or the arts or education, or medicine or healthcare, or business. There is not a single issue that isn't affected by political debates. And there's not a single issue that isn't threatened by the breakdown in our civil discourse. So even if you hate politics, and there are certainly plenty of good reasons to hate politics these days, you will have to engage in political dialogue, if only to survive Thanksgiving dinner with your crazy uncle. And you will have to judge the arguments made by candidates if you are going to vote intelligently. The question I hope you will ask yourself, on what basis will you make those judgments? It would be natural to think that a degree from one of America's top colleges has prepared you as a skilled judge of political debates. But unfortunately, a recent study found that the smartest and most knowledgeable voters can actually be the worst judges. And the reason is they are most likely to make judgments based on which party is making the argument rather than on the argument itself. Now, I know what you're thinking. I would never do that, you say. But it happens unconsciously all the time. People have a tendency to assume the worst about those on the other side of the aisle. And when it comes to those on your side, they tend to see no evil, hear no evil, and speak no evil. And that's why, you can applaud if you want. That's why educated and knowledgeable people excuse these actions that are ethically wrong and defend statements that are blatant lies. Of course, some people say defending the indefensible is just politics as usual. But I don't accept that, and I hope you won't either. When extreme partisanship replaces reason, logic, facts, and data, the country suffers and special interests win. I've seen it time and time again on issue after issue: gun violence, education, public health, and even one that threatens life as we know it, climate change. Yesterday, I stood with WashU's next Chancellor, Andrew Martin, and the President of Ohio State University to announce that Bloomberg Philanthropies will help sponsor the first ever climate summit of Midwestern universities next year right here on this campus. We were joined by your mayor here, Lyda Crewson, because St. Louis and WashU has always been a real leader on climate change. Last year, this city was one of the winners of a climate competition my foundation ran, and we're now providing about $2.5 million of resources to help St. Louis increase energy efficiency and expand solar power, a goal that WashU is helping the city to achieve. Thank you very much. Universities have a critical role to play in helping our country tackle this challenge, and I want to thank everyone at WashU who has been part of that work. There really is no time to waste. The problems driven by climate change are getting worse, and that's something you've seen right here during your lifetime. The recent Mississippi River floods have affected life in St. Louis, and they've devastated farmers across the Midwest. Those types of natural disasters will continue to get more severe with climate change, according to the best scientific data. The trouble is, too many politicians aren't interested in hard science. They're only interested in political science and winning the next election. So they ignore the data. They try to cut funding for climate research because they know it will undermine their political argument. Sometimes they even try to block public employees from uttering the words climate change. You can't make this stuff up. You just have to wonder, what are they trying to hide? And the only conclusion I've drawn is that they're either hiding their own ignorance or their own bad faith. Either way, when government tries to gag scientists and censors our conclusions, watch out and speak up. America's progress depends on a dialogue that treats these issues not as pawns in a political battle, but as problems to be solved. Ignoring data and facts and defending indefensible positions happens in both parties. But during your time on campus, it has enabled new levels of dishonesty and wrongdoing. And it has reached a point that I believe no democracy can long sustain. Our democracy, as the Founding Fathers understood, relies on more than just votes. George Washington wrote in his farewell address, "Virtue or morality is a necessary spring of popular government," end quote. If the spring runs dry, democracy withers away, and the rights that we hold disappear. Graduates, that spring of virtue is now yours to protect. And make no mistake, it is more polluted with toxic dialogue than it has ever been in modern history. The good news is, the way to clean up the pollution can be found in 3 words written on the cover of your diploma. It's the motto of this great university, Per Veritatem Vi, strength through truth. And it's a motto that fits perfectly with a university named for George Washington. In 1794, during President Washington's second term, there was a faction ginning up support for secession. Washington recognized the threat it posed, and he was confident that it would not succeed. He wrote in a letter, and I quote, "It is not difficult by concealment of some facts and exaggeration of others to bias a well-meaning mind, at least for a while. But," he continued, quote, "truth will ultimately prevail when it's taken to bring it to light," end quote. Now, I know the phrase, "pains is taken," probably just horrified every English major here. As kids, we were taught that Washington never told a lie, but they never told us he had trouble with subject-verb agreements. In fairness to George, pains is taken is the way they spoke back then. Today, Washington would probably say, "take pains," or maybe T-pain. But Washington's point and Washington U's motto are principles I hope that all of you will take to heart. Truth will prevail where pains are taken to bring it to light. And with truth comes strength. The pains that every generation has taken to bring light are why secession didn't succeed in 1794 or 1861. The pains taken by abolitionists and suffragettes and civil rights marchers and marriage equality advocates brought America's core truth to light, that all people are created equal. And today, the necessity of taking pains to bring truth to light is greater than ever, because the tools for spreading lies are more powerful than ever. Since the dawn of democracy, there has always been those, to paraphrase Socrates, who try to make the weaker argument appear the stronger, and who care more about winning debates than being truthful. In ancient Greece, these were called sophists, and they would have loved Twitter and Facebook. Social media has given rise to a new golden age of sophistry, aided and abetted by blind partisanship. The only way to overcome it, the only way to lift our national discourse out of the gutter, is to heed Washington's words and take pains to bring truth to light. Those pains are the burden of citizenship in a democracy, and a great education does not relieve them, it intensifies them. This is especially true, I believe, for graduates of the university bearing the name Washington. All of you have been a part of this institution's long tradition of advocacy and activism. Don't leave it behind. Carry it with you and take it on this challenge to bring truth to light. To help you get started, let me offer some quick advice for dealing with modern-day sophists who try to obscure and deny truth. When those in the political arena engage in name-calling and other schoolyard chants and are trying to distract your attention away from the real issues, and from their inability to address them or their unwillingness to put forward practical solutions. Don't be distracted. When they tolerate attacks on minority groups, especially those who profess a faith that some find threatening, they are empowering those who traffic in hatred. Don't tolerate it. When they denounce journalists as enemies of the state and declare any critical coverage to be fake news and dress up lies as alternative facts, they are trying to fool you into trusting only the news that comes from their mouths. Don't be fooled. When they exaggerate the risks we face from immigrants, without talking about all the benefits they have brought to our country, they are preying on people's fears. Don't let them get away with it. When they try to tell you who you can love or even who you can be, they are either pandering for votes or playing God. Don't put up with it. When they promise you a free lunch or free college or free medical care or free income, remember that a bill always comes due. Don't let them pass the buck. When they prevent speakers from being heard by shouting them down or creating spaces where different opinions are not permitted, they are trying to win arguments by bullying and censorship instead of facts and reason. Don't let them suppress free speech. Even when you find that speech to be deplorable, protecting their right to speak is the only way to protect your right to speak. When people romance the past, just remember something my mother, who lived to 102, told me. The good old days were never that good. And finally, when leaders wrap themselves in the flag or the national anthem and try to make you think that critics of your government don't love and respect our country, real patriotism isn't about honoring symbols. Real patriotism is about bringing truth to light, and when action is required, standing up and taking action. In other words, real patriotism is about taking pains. So if you remember nothing else from today, remember that phrase. Or to make it even simpler, just remember T-Pain. Graduates, as you leave this great university, I hope you will take the pains that are necessary to preserve and extend our democracy. Take pains to understand the other side. Take pains to expose lies. Take pains to reject scapegoating and xenophobia. Take pains not to fall for easy answers. And take pains to hold our leaders accountable for their words and their deeds. If you do that, I have no doubt that truth and America will prevail. And my generation will be able to say, as we pass the leadership torch to yours, the same words that Washington spoke with his last breath. 'Tis well. So tonight, have one last drink, maybe a tease, dance to your own beat or to the beat of the Ninja Turtle backpack guy, and tomorrow get to work. The world needs you more than ever. Congratulations and good luck.
Mr. Bloomberg, would you please join me at the podium? We're grateful for your presentation today and the strong advice to this outstanding group of graduates. We at Washington University are proud to recognize you as one of America's most outstanding leaders by bestowing upon you the honorary degree of Doctor of Laws. We will now continue conferring the honorary degrees. You will find biographical information on each honorary degree recipient in your commencement program. I have asked members of the Board of Trustees to assist me today in conferring the honorary degrees. Trustee Andrew E. Newman will present Carol Bruns Bauer.
Chancellor Wrighton, I have the privilege of presenting Carol Bruns Bauer, a longtime Washington University benefactor, steadfast volunteer, chaplain, and former teacher. She continues her family's tradition of service by generously giving her time and counsel in times of crisis, mentoring young people from challenging backgrounds, and utilizing her experience in 4 states as a teacher to support students of all ages. Her help embraces a range of needs, from neonatal intensive care units where newborns face life-threatening conditions to educating children whose families lack the means. Mrs. Bauer, we at Washington University are proud to recognize your accomplishments by bestowing upon you the honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters. Go.
Trustee Barbara Shapps Thomas will present George Peter Bauer.
Chancellor Wrighton, I have the privilege of presenting George Peter Bauer, a dedicated alumnus and emeritus trustee of Washington University, philanthropist, financier, and head of the GPB Group Limited. Through the Bauer Family Foundation, he and his family nurture their communities through projects that improve young people's access to education, create ethical business leaders, and support human health initiatives worldwide. When George took Carol, our prior honoree, out on their first date, he bought her a hamburger. On their 50th wedding anniversary, he upgraded and bought her a cheeseburger. Mr. Bauer, we at Washington University are proud to recognize your accomplishments by bestowing upon you the honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters.
Trustee Lawrence E. Thomas will present Teresa Ann Carrington.
Chancellor Wrighton, I have the distinct privilege of presenting Teresa Ann Carrington, a social entrepreneur whose innovative approaches to ending poverty are having an impact all around the globe. 10 by 3 began as the Blessing Basket Project, a pioneering method created to help poor artisans earn a livelihood. She discovered that when an artisan sells 10 products a month at prosperity wages for 3 years, that person can move out of poverty. 10 by 3 was honored by the United Nations for its work. Mrs. Carrington, we at Washington University are proud to recognize your accomplishments by bestowing upon you the honorary degree of Doctor of Humanities. Congratulations.
Trustee Robert L. Virgil will present Wayne Fields.
Chancellor Wright and I have the privilege of presenting Wayne Fields, nationally recognized expert on American literature, rhetoric, and nonfiction prose. He has written widely in national journals, is the author of several highly acclaimed works of nonfiction, and is among the nation's foremost experts on political rhetoric. Professor Fields joined the faculty of Washington University in 1968 and has held during that time several important roles of leadership in the faculty and administration. He is an inspiring and influential teacher, treasured colleague, and conscience of the liberal arts. Wayne Fields, for your accomplishments and contribution, we at Washington University are proud to bestow upon you the honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters.
Trustee Ann Rubenstein Tisch will present Joseph E. Madison.
Chancellor Wrighton, I have the privilege of presenting Joseph E. Madison, a dedicated alumnus of Washington University, human and civil rights activist, and groundbreaking radio personality. Known on air as the Black Eagle, he hosts a 4-hour Sirius XM show that focuses on political and social issues, bringing attention to social injustice around the world. He challenges himself and his listeners every day to do something about it. He uses his voice for those without one. Mr. Madison, we at Washington University are proud to recognize your accomplishments by bestowing upon you the honor of Doctor of Laws.
Trustee Henry D. Warshaw will present Charles Rice III.
Chancellor Wrighton, I have the privilege of presenting Dr. Charles Rice III, one of the world's most accomplished virologists. Through his research, he has made seminal discoveries about the hepatitis C virus that are helping transform these viral infections from deadly to curable. Dr. Rice's decade-long study of the hepatitis C virus has led to treatment that cures 95% of infected people and has saved hundreds of thousands of lives. Dr. Rice we at Washington University are proud to recognize your accomplishments by bestowing upon you the honorary degree of Doctor of Science.
Will all the members of the Board of Trustees please rise? Will all the honorary degree recipients please rise? By virtue of the authority delegated to me on behalf of Washington University, I hereby confer upon each of you the appropriate honorary degree and declare that your names shall be forever inscribed upon the enduring roll of the university's honorary sons and daughters. Congratulations to you all. Thank you. You may be seated.
I wish to introduce the president of the senior class, Joey Vettianco.
My fellow students of the class of 2019, congratulations, and thank you for allowing me to speak today. I'd like to thank all the faculty, staff, parents, friends, and the other special people in our lives who helped us reach this moment. I speak to you today as a senior in arts and sciences, but I also hope my words will resonate with the engineer, the doctor, the business person, and the freshly minted PhD. This day is the culmination of years of academics, the friendships and relationships we developed, and the growth we all experienced, all have led up to this moment. Our journey has come quite full circle, quite literally, from the beginning here at Convocation, for many of us, to this very moment at our commencement. I began my own personal reflection of the past 4 years of my undergraduate experience when I was given one of the best possible graduation gifts I could have asked for. A letter I had written my first year addressed to my future self. I wrote it as part of one of the final assignments for Dean Jill Stratton's class on leadership I took during my second semester here. The prompt asked us what we wanted our legacy at WashU to be. I wrote about how I wanted to be remembered for making a difference here, that I wanted to leave this place a better place than I'd found it. I even finished the note by writing, "Make the world a better place, future Joey." Like many of you, it was my experiences here throughout these last few years that allowed me to transform into a completely different person than who I thought I'd be. But that's what college is. It's in this unique environment where we spent late nights in Olin cramming for finals. We met people from different backgrounds than us. We witnessed history when we hosted the 2016 presidential debate. We bonded with our friends at Wild, and we shared in an overwhelming grief when T-Pain canceled this year. But it was the people here that proved at a place like WashU the seemingly impossible was possible. WashU was where a guy with a Ninja Turtle backpack playing music could brighten everyone's day. A first-generation student could be the first in their family to receive a college education. Someone could get published in an academic journal as just an undergraduate. In a place where the son of an immigrant family from a small Kentucky town could have the opportunity to stand here and address our class for the last time at his college graduation. But my story is only one perspective amidst a variety of experiences, and it would be impossible to capture the serendipitous moments of each of your experiences. However, I find there are universal truths of the college experience. Like all of you, I've spent the last few years studying some pretty serious stuff. But today, I want to talk about my not-so-secret passion, comic books. While I am not a superhero myself, I feel it's a useful tool for explaining our own graduation. You doubt me, but let me show you. I have found that my own college experience to be eventful enough to be its own entry in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It even followed the same narrative structure, the origin story, the team-up, the challenge, and the final victory. I wasn't bitten by a radioactive spider or born in stately Wayne Manor, but I came here with cautious optimism. And as I found with all great teams such as the Avengers, the Justice League, and for the parents sitting in the crowd, the Super Friends, my team-up was the friends, the colleagues, and those who I could share my experiences with and turn to in hard times that I found along the way. They would be useful to me in addressing the challenge. I realized for all of you, it was something different, but for me, the challenge I faced was finding out what I wanted to do with my life. For me personally, the great test was switching from pre-med to pre-law after discovering my passion for politics and history. And finally, the victory was when we realized our true potential. It was finishing my senior thesis and fulfilling my academic interests. For many of us, it was landing our dream job, getting accepted to grad school, or embracing the uncertainty of what comes next if we haven't figured it out yet. And of course, the post-credit scene is our life after graduation. While we may not know what is in the works, the future certainly looks promising. And as any good hero has their wiser, older mentor, I had mine. I think back to the words of my thesis advisor, Professor Peter Castor. For those who've undertaken the task of completing a thesis, there are countless hours of research, writing, and editing. And if there's one thing that a thesis writer loves more than working on their thesis, it's complaining about their thesis. Whenever I found myself complaining, Professor Castor would offer two simple words of advice: work harder. Professor Castor didn't offer this advice as an admonishment. He knew what I was truly capable of and pushed me to reach that potential when I found myself slacking. And looking back at these last few years, when the going got tough, that's exactly what the class of 2019 did. They worked harder. And the accomplishments of the class of 2019 could come straight out of a comic book. We will not be defined by the challenges that we faced, but rather the ways in which we overcame them. When a group of students banded together to exercise their right of free speech to advocate for a WashU that lifted its workers up through a higher wage, they worked harder. When members of this class recognized the grave danger of climate change, they challenged our university to take a position of environmental leadership within our nation and take action through their own investments. They worked harder. And finally, when students wanted more accountability and a better process out of Title IX, they created Title IX and organized over 500 students to demand reform. They too worked harder. These were the moments that mattered to me. I realized they may not be issues that motivate all of you. They may not be issues we agree on, but what I want to emphasize are the ways they teach us the value of standing up for what we believe in. I recognize that what it means to work together in other disciplines may seem different, but the central value of collaboration and mutual respect is exactly the same. So the problems of today's world don't necessitate a suit of high-tech armor or a magic hammer, but rather that we use our greatest powers, our hearts and our minds. And these heroes that I'd been so enamored with all my life had been there in front of me all along. It was these individuals who worked to create a more equitable and just place on a campus we've called home. Because heroes are just ordinary people who do extraordinary things. To my fellow undergraduates in the class of 2019, it's been one of the greatest honors of my life to be able to serve as your class president during our last year together. I'm so inspired by all of you, and I will miss you all very much. But our work has only just begun. We must carry the torch passed down to us from previous generations and continue along this trajectory of progress. The world needs our hearts and our minds as we become the leaders of tomorrow. So let's go be heroes, because a brighter tomorrow begins with our actions today. Thank you.
I wish to introduce Alexandra Keene, who will receive a Doctor of Medicine degree today. She is representing the graduate and professional school students.
Thank you, Grand Marshal Droback. The peak of every medical student's education is match day, the day we discover where we'll spend our years training as residents. And as it drew to a close, I found myself reflecting on the university that shaped me into the physician I soon will be. Walking through the medical campus, I passed by the patient rooms, where we saw beyond disease to the resilience of the human spirit. The lecture halls, where confusion transformed into clarity. And the science labs, where our knowledge was stretched beyond the single cell to the intricate connectivity of the organ systems that make us human. It was here at WashU that we, as graduate and professional students, learned that education comes in small acts and big strokes. It gave us the power to tie together patterns, interactions, and systems in search for our relationship in the world. But this is just the beginning. It's where we go from here that will make all the difference. If not us, who? And if not now, when? Apple's founder, the late Steve Jobs, left us with this advice: your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of others' thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. But it can be hard to know what our passion and purpose is. And it is easy to be consumed entirely by our work, technology, social media, and hobbies. But when will we nurture our creative and innovative thinking? Our generation is faced with foreboding challenges that cannot be advanced without our creative problem solving. Worldwide industry leaders have deemed creativity the most important quality for success. And while studies have shown that IQs are rising, our creativity scores have been decreasing over the last 3 decades. At Washington University, we are surrounded by world-renowned innovators who have harnessed their creativity to improve our world. In medicine and engineering, researchers are developing eyeglasses that give surgeons the incredible ability to detect the smallest remnants of cancer during surgery in real time. In the Brown School, they are finding innovative solutions to combat the devastating opioid epidemic. The law school is addressing privacy and ownership ethics surrounding genomics. And the Olin MBA program has instituted a global immersion component to promote globally oriented thinking. And one person in particular has inspired my career path, Dr. Susan McKinnon. Years ago, she was frustrated. Despite the efforts of the most talented surgeons, patients who lost use of their hands, arms, feet, or legs due to nerve injuries were gaining little to no improvement after surgery. They commonly lost function abruptly after war injuries, devastating accidents, or cancer removal. And in a brief moment, their lives went from totally independent and functional to ones of dependence and immobility. Motivated by these outcomes, Dr. McKinnon had a rage to master the domain of nerve surgery, endlessly asking, is there a better way? The problem was always churning, consciously and subconsciously. She lived it, she dreamed it, developing a surgical technique that was radically different. In simple terms, some muscles in our arms and legs are controlled by 2 nerves when they actually only need 1. So when other nearby muscles that are controlled by only 1 nerve aren't working because that nerve is injured, why not borrow from a muscle that has 2? It's as if the human body was made for the creativity of Dr. McKinnon to discover these unrealized spare parts. Once facing paralysis or amputation, a patient's outlook now includes much improved and sometimes near normal movement and feeling. However, as with any paradigm shift, her technique was met with doubt, hostility, and even threatened legal action from some of her peers. In her wisdom, Dr. McKinnon realizes that her ingenuity was actually born out of this adversity. Standing upon the shoulders of giants like Dr. McKinnon here at WashU, how will we advance this legacy of progress? We must tap into our own creativity. In the words of Sir Ken Robinson, we are people who are driven by feelings and inspiration and a sense of possibility. Creativity is the essence of humanity. It is not an incidental part of being human, but it's distinctly human. In life, we will encounter problems that perplex and frustrate us, unveiling our passion, our purpose. But not only will it take the proverbial 10,000 hours to fully understand the problem, we must persist even in the face of adversity. And along the journey to discovery, we must allow our minds to wander and wonder. Because in this downtime, the problem can run rampant across our subconscious minds, culminating in our aha moment Recall some of the great insights. Archimedes discovered density calculations while relaxing in a bath, and Newton discovered gravity sitting under an apple tree. A mind that is persistently activated externally is a restricted mind. Neuroscientists found that opposing brain networks that don't normally work together are both active during mind wandering. In essence, when you allow your mind to escape the hustle of the outside world, your brain isn't relaxing. Quite the opposite. It's working on overdrive. But in a world where we are expected to be constantly available, where do we find downtime? Many of us are chronic multitaskers. Work on one computer screen, email on another, the New York Times crossword on another, all while scrolling through Instagram or Twitter while listening to music. But is this at the expense of meaningful, inventive production? In the words of Shakespeare, we are consumed by that which we are nourished. It's up to us. So entering a continually moving world, I hope we unplug, indulge in the stillness, and feed our imaginative spirit, for this may generate our own Newtonian flash of discovery. Class of 2019, we are now called to generate solutions to the most pressing concerns troubling the world today. So live with a sense of urgency, because just as there are commencements, there are cessations. Be tenacious, knowing that playing small does the world no service. And finally, have the courage to follow your intuition. Your questioning may be the spark that sets in motion the tides of progress. Congratulations, class of 2019. Thank you.
For the presentation of academic degrees, I now present the Provost and Executive Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs, Dr. Holden Thorpe.
For the presentation of academic degrees in arts and sciences, I now present the Dean of the Faculty of Arts and Sciences, Barbara Schall.
For the presentation of students in the College of Arts and Sciences, I wish to introduce the Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, Jennifer R. Smith.
The student marshals for the degrees of Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Music in the College of Arts and Sciences will please come forward, and candidates for the degrees will please rise. Chancellor Wrighton, I have the honor to present these candidates for the degrees of Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Music in the College of Arts and Sciences who are duly recommended by the Faculty of Arts and Sciences. The candidates will please be seated.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Great to see you.
For the presentation of students in University College, I wish to introduce the Dean of University College, Mark Rollins.
The student marshals for the degrees of Associate in Arts and Bachelor of Science will please come forward. Candidates for these degrees will please rise. Chancellor Wrighton, I have the honor of presenting these candidates who are duly recommended by the Faculty of Arts and Sciences. Congratulations. The candidates will be seated. Student marshals for the degrees of Master of Arts and Master of Science in University College will please come forward. The The candidates will please rise. Chancellor Wrighton, I have the honor of presenting these candidates. They have been examined and are duly recommended by the Faculty of Arts and Sciences. Candidates will please be seated.
For the presentation of graduate students in arts and sciences, I wish to introduce the Dean of the Graduate School, William F. Tate.
The student marshals for the master's degrees in the graduate school will please come forward. Candidates for the degree, will you please rise? Chancellor Wrighton, I have the honor to present these candidates. They have been examined and are duly recommended by the faculty of the graduate school. The candidates may be seated. The student marshals for the degrees of the Doctor of Philosophy and the Doctor of Liberal Arts will please come forward. Candidates for the degrees will please rise. Chancellor Wrighton, it is with high honor that I present these outstanding candidates for the degrees of the Doctor of Philosophy and the Doctor of Liberal Arts. They have fulfilled the many requirements for these advanced degrees and are approved by the faculty of the graduate school. The candidates will be seated.
For the presentation of students in the McKelvey School of Engineering, I wish to introduce the Dean of the McKelvey School of Engineering, Aaron Bobick.
Will the student marshals for the Bachelor of Science degrees in engineering please come forward? Candidates for the bachelor's degree will please rise, and you know what to do. Chancellor Wrighton, I have the honor to present these candidates who are duly recommended by the faculty of the James McKelvey School of Engineering. Congratulations. Congratulations. Very good. The candidates may be seated. Will the student marshals for the graduate degrees in the McKelvey School of Engineering please come forward? I know we have degrees. Candidates for the graduate degrees, please rise. Chancellor Wrighton, I have the honor, the high honor, to present these candidates for the master's and doctoral degrees in engineering. They have been examined and examined again and are duly recommended by the faculty of the James McKelvey School of Engineering. Candidates, please be seated.
For the presentation of academic degrees in the Sam Fox School of Design and Visual Arts, I now present Carmen Colangelo, the Ralph J. Nagel Dean.
For the presentation of Students in Architecture, I wish to introduce the Director of the College of Architecture and the Graduate School of Architecture and Urban Design in the Sam Fox School of Design and Visual Arts, Heather Woofter.
The student marshals for the Bachelor of Arts in Architecture degrees and Bachelor of Science in Architecture degrees in the College of Architecture will please come forward. Candidates for the degrees will please rise. Chancellor Wrighton, I have the honor to present these candidates who have been examined and are duly recommended by the faculty of the College of Architecture. Please be seated. The student marshals for the master's degrees in the Graduate School of Architecture and Urban Design will please come forward. Candidates for the degrees will please rise. Chancellor Wrighton, I have the honor to present these candidates who have been examined and are duly recommended by the faculty of the Graduate School of Architecture and Urban Design. The candidates will please be seated.
For the presentation of Students in Art, I wish to introduce the Director of the College of Art and the Graduate School of Art in the Sam Fox School of Design and Visual Arts, Heather A. Corcoran.
The student marshals for the degree of the Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Fine Arts will please come forward. Candidates for the degrees will please rise. Where are they? Chancellor Wrighton, I have the honor to present these candidates who are duly recommended by the faculty of the College of Art. Way to go. Great job. The candidates will please be seated. The student marshals for the degree of the Master of Fine Arts will please come forward. Candidates for this degree, please rise. Wow. Chancellor Wright and I have the honor to present these candidates. They have been examined and are duly recommended by the faculty of the Graduate School of Art. Congratulations. The candidates will please be seated.
For the presentation of students in the Olin Business School, I wish to introduce the Dean of the Olin Business School, Mark Taylor.
The student marshals for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Business Administration in the Olin Business School will please come forward. Candidates for the degree will please rise. Chancellor Wrighton, I have the honor to present these candidates who have been examined and are duly recommended by the faculty of the Olin Business School. The candidates will please be seated. The student marshals for the master's degrees in the Olin Business School will please come forward. Candidates for the degrees will please rise. Chancellor Wrighton, I have the high honor to present these candidates. They have been examined and are duly recommended by the faculty of the Olin Business School. The candidates will please be seated.
For the presentation of the students in the Brown School, I wish to introduce Mary McKay, the Nydorf Family and Centene Corporation Dean.
The student marshals for the master's degrees in the Brown School, please come forward. Candidates, please rise. Chancellor Wrighton, I have the honor to present these candidates for the degrees of the Master of Social Work, Master of Public Health, and Master of Social Policy. They have been examined and are duly recommended by the faculty of the Brown School. Candidates, please be seated.
For the presentation of the students in the School of Law, I wish to introduce the Dean of the School of Law, Nancy Stout.
The student marshals for the master's and doctoral degrees in the School of Law will please come forward. The candidates for the degrees will please rise. Chancellor Wrighton, I have the high honor to present these candidates who have fulfilled the requirements for the degrees of Doctor of Law, Doctor of the Science of Law, Master of Law, and the Master of Legal Studies, and are approved by the faculty of the School of Law. The candidates will please be seated.
For the presentation of the students in the School of Medicine, I wish to introduce the Executive Vice Chancellor and the George and Carol Bauer Dean of the School of Medicine, David Perlmutter.
The student marshals for the master's degrees in the School of Medicine will please come forward. The candidates for the degree will please rise. Chancellor Wrighton, I have the honor to present these candidates who have been examined and are duly recommended by the faculty of the School of Medicine. The candidates will please be seated. The student marshal for the doctoral degrees in the School of Medicine will please come forward. Candidates for the degrees will please rise. Chancellor Wrighton, I have the high honor to present these candidates who have fulfilled the many requirements for the degrees of Doctor of Medicine, Doctor of Audiology, Doctor of Occupational Therapy, and Doctor of Physical Therapy, and are approved and duly recommended by the faculty of the School of Medicine. You can be seated.
Will all of the faculty please rise? Will all of the candidates who've completed the requirements for the associate degree please rise? I do not see any.
There's one. Yay!
Thank you. By virtue of the authority delegated to me on behalf of Washington University, I hereby confer upon you your associate degree with all its attendant rights, privileges, and obligations. Congratulations. Will all the candidates who've completed the requirements for the bachelor's degree please rise? By virtue of the authority delegated to me on behalf of Washington University, I hereby confer upon each of you your bachelor's degree with all its attendant rights, privileges, and obligations. Congratulations. Please be seated. Will all the candidates who have completed the requirements for the master's degree please rise? By virtue of the authority delegated to me on behalf of Washington University, I hereby confer upon each of you your master's degree with all its attendant rights, privileges, and obligations. Congratulations. Please be seated. Will all the candidates who've completed the requirements for the doctoral degree please rise? By virtue of the authority delegated to me on behalf of Washington University, I hereby confer upon each of you your doctoral degree with all its attendant rights, privileges, and obligations. Congratulations. Doctors, please be seated. The faculty may be seated. Several of today's graduates have participated in the Reserve Officers Training Program and have been commissioned second lieutenants in the United States Army and United States Air Force. Will they please stand and receive our recognition? And would all military veterans who are graduating today please stand? Thank you for your service. As Chairman Schnook noted, I will be transitioning from the office of Chancellor, and that will take place 2 weeks from tomorrow. Chancellor-elect Andrew Martin is with us today. Inasmuch as we have 3,162 new alumni with whom he will be working, I'd like to have him extend words of congratulations to the class of 2019. Andrew Martin.
Thank you, Chancellor Wrighton, for your introduction. Members of the class of 2019, I have to be honest. I feel a little bit like Paul McCartney right now as I channel one of the Beatles' most famous lines, "You say goodbye, and I say hello." For some of you, that joke might have just gotten lost in the generational gap. But it's true. You're leaving this place, and I'm just beginning my role as your 15th Chancellor. Because I wasn't here for most of your time on campus, I haven't earned the privilege to impart a lot of wisdom. To that end, all I really want to say is congratulations. During your time at Washington University, you have worked and studied hard. You have conducted innovative and collaborative research. You have served in your community. You have traveled the globe. You have engaged in dialogues across differences. You have become leaders of your organizations and clubs. You have led your teams to victory. You have made lifelong friends and mentors. You have developed the skills and tools you need to succeed in life beyond the WashU bubble. Beyond that, you embody wisdom, integrity, humility, compassion, empathy, citizenship, and much more. You are knowledge gainers, truth seekers, truth speakers, problem solvers, change inspirers, and values-oriented leaders. You are Washington University. As your 15th Chancellor and an alumnus of WashU, I am extremely proud to call you distinguished alumni, members of a strong and global network of individuals who are making a real difference in this region and around the world. I am thrilled to be here to witness this moment, and I'm excited about the opportunity to work with you as alumni and watch you become the local, national, and global leaders we have helped prepare you to be. So, to once again channel Paul McCartney, it's not actually goodbye. Your WashU journey doesn't end here. In fact, we call it commencement because it's just a beginning. As your next chancellor, my greatest hope is that you will always carry WashU with you wherever you go, and that you will come back and say hello to us often, and that you will find success wherever your WashU journey takes you. Congratulations again on such an enormous achievement, and best of luck as you take WashU with you into the world.
We're about to wrap up, but I do have my message, which I prepared in part last year. At that time, we had a downpour, and I didn't give a message to the class of 2018. Each of you has worked hard to earn your degree, but you've done much more than grow intellectually. You've matured emotionally and socially. Your newly acquired education will serve you well throughout life. And the Washington University friendships and memories are ones I hope you return to often. While you may actually lose your diploma, you will always have your education. Your education is the key to a more satisfying and rewarding life for yourself and holds the promise of a brighter future for all of society. As I stand here before you, before your families and your friends, I'm filled with gratitude. I'm grateful that you chose Washington University. By coming here and engaging in many programs inside and outside the classroom, you have enhanced the impact of the university. To our international students, I'm especially grateful that you had the courage to join us, to be far from home and in a different culture. You have contributed significantly to the quality of the educational experience for all of us. That includes faculty, staff, and of course, your classmates. Many of you have taken full advantage of the opportunities the university provides as a great research university, and you've contributed to the creation of new knowledge that can enhance the quality of life. A large number of you have performed and supported theater, music, and dance, and have enhanced our cultural understanding through Black Anthology, Carnival, Diwali, the Powwow, and the Lunar New Year Festival. To those of you who are involved in NCAA Division III intercollegiate athletics programs, you have provided fun and excitement, and you have also won national championships. You have won championships in women's soccer, women's cross country, and women's track and field. Your efforts sustain us as one of the most competitive and successful Division III programs in the United States. I'm also thankful for those 1,200 or so excellent student athletes who've played hard and represented the university so well in club sports. Our men's ice hockey team won its very first ever conference title this year, and the past few years have seen national championships in men's water polo, as well as a national runner-up in women's water polo. To all of our scholar champions, congratulations. And by the way, we're still in action in varsity baseball, track and field, women's golf, and tennis. Go Bears! You wouldn't appreciate the processional wrap-up as I have now 24 times. We stopped just before the Olympic fanfare, and I'm going to make a request that we recess with the Olympic fanfare to celebrate our scholar champions, and also to remind everyone that this past September, we revealed the Olympic rings on the southeast corner of Siegel Hall. That's a great photo opportunity for everyone, but especially our scholar champions. You have contributed as a class to the well-being of others through leadership of programs like Dance Marathon and Relay for Life. Indeed, more than half of you have been involved in bettering the St. Louis community through your academic programs or through public service efforts coordinated by the Gephardt Institute, the Campus Y, or other programs. Many of our graduates also participated in that presidential debate that we hosted in 2016. Yes, I'm grateful to all of you, not only for choosing us, but also for your important contributions to the university, to the St. Louis community, while you have also fulfilled your very rigorous academic degree requirements. Graduates, your achievements here are impressive. The role of your parents, family, friends, faculty, and staff has already been emphasized, and I too am grateful for their support. Let's give them another round of applause for their great work. Michael Bloomberg, we are deeply appreciative of your message today. Your contributions to our country and the world have brought benefit to many, and I value greatly your being with us to encourage our new graduates to live lives of meaning and purpose and to seek the truth. Thank you again for an outstanding address. Our other honorary degree recipients, George and Carol Bauer, Teresa Carrington, Wayne Fields, Joe Madison, Charles Rice, are also great contributors. I'm grateful that our graduates today also have the potential to make equally important contributions to benefit the world. We have worked to prepare you as a new generation of society's leaders. At the academic convocation for undergraduates nearly 4 years ago, I said, quote, "Luck favors the prepared mind." Each of you has a prepared mind, and all of you are ready for success in the next era of your lives. However, you will encounter some challenges. There will be both major and minor challenges in your own lives. And of course, there are daunting global problems to solve that will take concerted effort over many years. There are three major goals I challenge you to achieve. First, address climate change. Second, stop the decline of biodiversity. And third, realize racial equity. As Michael Bloomberg has already said, climate change threatens the very existence of life as we know it. This is the most important problem of this century. The growing incidence of severe storms has already had huge economic cost, and coastal areas are plagued by the threat of a significant rise in sea level. These and other problems stemming from global warming may not be avoidable, as some are suggesting. However, it is imperative that the world take steps to reduce the use of fossil energy and turn to other sources of energy, including renewable energy such as solar photovoltaic electricity. But significant penetration of solar electricity or wind power will require storage of energy, and we need innovations in that area as well. I'm proud that yesterday, Mr. Bloomberg announced a Midwest Higher Education Summit to take place in early 2020, and that Washington University will serve as an anchor institution in this collaboration with Midwest academic centers, governments, and the private sector. We are seeking innovative climate change solutions. We appreciate the support very much from the Bloomberg philanthropies. Progress should come through research like that taking place in our International Center for Energy, Environment, and Sustainability, led by Professors Himadri Pakrasi and David Fike. For example, effort is being devoted to the development of new battery technology for economical storage of electricity, this in the group of Dr. Vijay Ramani in the McKelvey School of Engineering. But research and development of the energy systems of the future need to be accompanied by policies that will encourage more rapid deployment of economically viable, safe, clean energy. Thus, success in solving the problems from combustion of fossil fuels will require talented people from many disciplines. As a scientist myself, I'm confident that science and engineering research will bring technological advances of importance, but implementing these advances will require input from leaders in the social sciences, business, and governments. I'm grateful that our new graduates show the resolve to work together to assure a bright future for the entire Earth. Under the leadership of Executive Vice Chancellor Hank Weber and alumnus and Assistant Vice Chancellor for Sustainability Phil Volko, Washington University is emerging as a leader in controlling the growth in our carbon dioxide emissions. Indeed, we're reversing the emission output in connection with carbon dioxide. We have the goal of reducing our carbon dioxide emissions to 1990 levels, and excellent progress has been made. Even though we have doubled the amount of occupied space in the last 2 decades, we're using the same amount of energy today that we did 20 years ago. We have much more work to do, and we look forward to our collaborations with other universities, businesses, and governments to make more rapid progress. Speaking of expanded space, I'm grateful for the patience of the entire university community. For the last nearly 2 years, we have been redeveloping the east end of the Danforth campus. Today, our graduates can enjoy having their photos taken on the steps of Brookings Hall. Our project team at the university has been led by Hank Weber and Associate Vice Chancellor J.D. Long, and I'm appreciative of their very special efforts to bring our project to material completion, including opening our new 800-car underground parking garage. McCarthy Building Companies has had an excellent team doing the construction, and their leader on the project is an alumnus of the McKelvey School of Engineering, Mr. Ryan Moss. We are on our original schedule and budget, and the project has been executed with an excellent safety record and the very highest level of quality. Our new graduates, like alumnus Ryan Moss, are prepared to make important contributions to significant developments here and around the nation and around the world. Let me turn to another global challenge: loss of biodiversity. It's estimated that in less than half a century, global populations of fish, birds, mammals, amphibians, and reptiles have declined to less than half their size. All of this in the time since the graduation of the class of 1969. 1 in 5 of the plant species on Earth is currently threatened with extinction, putting supplies of food and medicines at risk. And some scientists believe a 6th mass extinction event is underway on Earth, triggering the largest loss of species since an asteroid slammed into the planet about 66 million years ago. If these statistics sound dire, that is because they are. The situation is urgent, and scientists say there is no time to lose. Washington University has recently recruited Dr. Jonathan Lassos to our faculty as the William H. Danforth Distinguished University Professor. He is a leader in evolutionary biology and a person who is developing approaches to addressing the challenge of declining biodiversity, he is working through a partnership with the St. Louis Zoo, the Missouri Botanical Garden, and potentially other institutions in St. Louis and around the world. The initiative underway is called the Living Earth Collaborative, and like many efforts to address global challenges, progress will necessarily involve bringing teams of people together from many disciplines. St. Louis is almost unique in having a world-class botanical garden, a world-class zoo, and a world-class research university in the same community. The Living Earth Collaborative is just getting started, providing a new opportunity for a major contribution to the world. My third aspiration for you is to achieve racial equity. I'm grateful to students, faculty, and staff who've been active in working toward racial equity in our own community, including Associate Vice Chancellor for Government and Community Relations, Rose Windmiller, who served on the Ferguson Commission, Professor Bob Hansman of the Fox School of Design and Visual Arts, who has exposed many of our students to the urban challenges in St. Louis, Professor Will Ross of the School of Medicine, who teaches our medical students about health disparities in our community, and Professor Jason Purnell in the Brown School, who has collaborated extensively, including with St. Louis University, to set out paths to overcoming these major health disparities. Sadly, the class of 2019 will face the challenge of racial inequity wherever they live in the United States. And it is my hope that our growing alumni network around the country and around the world will participate in addressing this major societal challenge. We have a responsibility to make improvements in racial equity within our own walls, while also striving to contribute to addressing problems in our surrounding communities. It's well known that the face of America is changing and that there will be greater diversity in the United States society. Washington University has embarked upon efforts to improve diversity and inclusion, and Chancellor-elect Andrew Martin has embraced recommendations of the university's Commission on Diversity and Inclusion that involve many of our students graduating today. Chancellor-elect Martin has announced that he will launch a Center for the Study of Race, Ethnicity, and Equity to be led by Professor Adrian Davis of the School of Law. I know that progress will continue. As Michael Bloomberg noted, our university motto is Per Veritatem Vis, strength through truth. May each of you graduating today continue to seek the truth and use it to build a brighter tomorrow. Yes, I am filled with gratitude for the outstanding graduates who've completed their degrees and for the promise they represent collectively in making the world a better place. You're probably filled with gratitude too, because I'm nearly finished with this message. And you're thinking about lunch and time with family and friends and becoming a little cooler. We graduate together, as this is my last commencement as chancellor. So I conclude with just a couple of words of advice. Commence the next phase of your lives with optimism and excitement. You're prepared to lead a life of meaning and purpose. Look up from your phones, focus on your family and friends, and enjoy your graduation day. You have much to be grateful for. Congratulations to the class of 2019.
Let us now stand and remove our caps for the singing of the alma mater. The words are printed on the back cover of your program. Michelle Schreier, who received her Bachelor of Arts degree today, will lead us, and we invite everyone to join us in the singing of the Washington University alma mater. Following the alma mater, we ask the parents and guests remain in their seats until the end of the academic recession and all the degree recipients have left the quadrangle.